I want to explore the mind from a unique perspective.
Then let's begin.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Dream Hacker, and this 2025 film was directed by Richard Colton and stars Molly Hanson, Gary Webster, and Marina Sirtis from Star Trek, among others, of course. So what is the story of Dream Hackers? Well, with this one, it follows this research scientist in London, and she is making this thing that she thinks will just record dreams. However, it turns out that it's actually kind of takes over the body of people who are dreaming, and only if they're in, a certain stage of dreaming. And so then they have a little adventure in other people's bodies and, trying to sort it all out and, save their equipment from being stolen. What will happen though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. All right, so let's discuss this film. Well, with this one, it's a low budget sci-fi film, and I think Leo knows I like this type of stuff. So he sent it to me, and I gotta say, I enjoyed this one. I thought it's just like a fun little sci-fi film. I think with the low budget, there certainly are low budget things, but it doesn't seem that low budget because they're working with that budget to make everything kind of like stand out, I would say, for what they have. And with this one, like, it's pretty simple. Machine, it's just some, Christmas lights and a helmet. But at the same time, that's all they kind of really need. And then, transitioning into the dream world and how that kind of looks as well. So even though things are, not the best, they are still working within their budget. And I think they do a good job at it. After all, it is quite a fun story, regardless of the budget. And with this story, you probably don't need too much budget anyways, because it's just, showing people in different, places and stuff like that, right? And so they do a good job. Like, the story is fun, I would say, jumping from body to body or dreamer to dreamer. And the scenarios that they kind of wake up in are fun. They have like this AI assistant that's, fun and clever. Like, I think it's decently well written, this story. And they also have to like explore the rules. Like, what are the rules of this dream machine? Like, who can they take over? Are they recording dreams, or what happens to the people after, and this type of stuff. So they actually like have a whole discussion about like, what are the rules? They do it with the AI assistant, but they still like have enough thought to go through this type of stuff. And so all together, it just kind of like makes a fun little sci-fi film. Other than that, I thought all the shooting was good, certainly. All the lighting certainly worked. Again, they're working with inside their budget. And I gotta say, even though it's, a low budget one, they are outside like a lot of the time. Like, I would probably say half the time, which is good. And so, yeah, all kind of technical stuff makes it look very clean. Certainly, I would, come back to that in the second half. But yeah, like all of the stuff just looks good as well. Other than that, I gotta say the acting was at least decent enough to go along with. All of them are doing, a good job. I'll probably come back to this a little bit later, but yeah, they're certainly doing a good job. Like, I kind of believe them for the characters that they're trying, especially the AI. He is very kind of, just like a plank of wood, but I imagine that's what AI would be like. And then they have Star Trek's Marina Sirtis, and so seeing her in this one is just a lot of fun. And she doesn't have like a cameo. She has the role of the secretary, so she shows up like throughout the whole thing, not for very long. Like, I'm sure they took a day or two to film with her, but she's in it, and I just like seeing her on screen in 2025. Like, who would have thought? So certainly the acting helps you get into this movie. So what else can I say about this movie? I don't know. I did enjoy it for what it was, like just going along with these kind of not scientists but researchers and the AI assistant, and it just kind of is fast paced enough where every 10 minutes you're jumping into another body or something like that. So it's all just kind of good fun, just all around to go along with, and then just try to figure it all out. And so I did enjoy it, I gotta say. Brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, with this one, I really started thinking about this one, and I couldn't find too much that like bothered me about it. Like, I just thought it was a fun film overall. It's a low budget film, and if you're not into low budget stuff, then don't watch this one. I would say with the budgetary restrictions, I appreciate that they shoot outside half the time, but then with the other half, they're like inside, and some of these rooms that they're in are just so bland and so bare, and it's like nothing's on the wall, there's no furniture or anything like that. And so it's very much just like a very kind of stage-esque, scene sometimes, but they get out of it, soon enough and go outside. So I appreciate that. It's just, there is that element of low budgetness that I can certainly forgive, but if you can't, you're going to notice it quite a bit. Like, it's all over this film, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Other than that, I know Leo would complain about this, but there are, American characters in this one, even though it's clearly, a UK production, and they're doing American accents. And even though the American accents aren't that bad, I would say they are all like ADR'd as well. So like all the American characters' voices sound ADR'd as well, especially when they're just talking to like a regular person. And so that was just noticeable. Like, I can forgive that type of stuff, but it kind of adds to the charm of it all, I would say. So overall, it certainly works. There's just, little elements of, a B movie that, I certainly enjoyed. As for a recommendation, well, I would say if you like sci-fi films and you don't mind low budget stuff, then watch this one. It's fun to discover what's going on, and the story is interesting enough where you're kind of intrigued with it all. And as for a rating, well, with this one, I do think it, hits above its low budget, but it's still limited by its low budget. So ultimately, I'm going to give it a score of 5. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.